Hi guys, the purpose of this video today is to show you how to do how to put a loop in and a runner. Some people call them keepers, you know. We call them a loop, and this is a runner because it runs up and down. So I'm going to show you how to do the loop first, and then I'll show you how to do this little run on, how to put it together, and how to, you can see the stitches and things there, how to stitch it. Yeah. So and then the other thing I'll show you as well, if you look at this this loop here and the runner, you'll see the square, which I think is quite attractive. Whereas if you look at this one I've slotted on here, it's just folded around and stitched, and I don't think that looks as pretty. I mean, it's personal choice obviously, but I just think making them square. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So 3 things we're going to do here. We're going to show you how to do a loop, we're going to show you how to do a runner, and then I'm going to show you how to, well, I think, make the loops and runners look prettier. Yeah, so I'll show you how to do them. So let's start, because you know me, I don't like to waffle on. Dead easy for me to do it in real life, but in a video I don't need to do it. So first of all, I'm going to start off on my buckle here. I'm going to put my stitch through. Now, as this is a buckle, I like to go round here twice, and again this is a double needle. Sometimes you'll use a single needle, depends the type of stitching you're using. So let me just spin these over, and then I'll show you. I'll start on the loop in a wee second. It's one of these things, I wish the wife would do some of these videos, because the length of time it takes me to put this one stitch through, she'd have done it all. Yeah, I am not the fastest stitcher in the world at all. Okay, I'll do that. So that's nice and locked. So I'm now ready to put the loop into place, and chances are, and I've made some loop material here. Yeah. So this is my loop. So I'm going to show you how to get the size as well, so that you don't end up with a big giant loop all the time. So my first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up again. Normally I wouldn't do it like this, I'd do it in here, but for you it's easier for me to do it like this. So I'm going to open this up, and you'll see I've got my loop material. It has to go halfway. Let me just put it in place, and I'll try and make it around for the camera. So it has to go, God, I'm all fingers today. It has to go halfway, yeah? So once I've got it halfway in there, I'll just put it back in here, and then I'll show you how to do it. I think I'm going to zoom out. Not enough coffee today, guys, that's what it is. And as you know, I like to beg for things, seeing as Honda and Bentley's ignored me so far. Nescafe, I like Nescafe coffee, just in case they want to send me some free samples. Anyway, so we know that's in halfway. The next thing, in order to get the correct size of loop, just move my threads out of the way, you turn it round here, all the way around, and then bring it round. And again, so I'm taking it around the 2 thicknesses here, and then that'll be, I'll make it halfway again. Well, doing that, and then I can chop it off there, and then that means my loop's going to be the exact size I want it to be, you know, so it won't be too big. So as I say, halfway in there, bring it all the way around here, press it tight, and all the way around, and then do a little mark halfway, and then I'll slot that inside, and that'll give me the height I want. That's one if I'm going round 2. Let me just show you another way of doing it. If I was going round a single one, again, I would make it halfway, bring it all the way down, but instead of finishing it halfway, because I've got the double bulk, I'd bring it all the way over here and do it all the way over here. So that way when it slots back, it'll give me that little gap that I want up here. So okay, for this one now, and again, I'm just going to back over again, put it back in there halfway, turn it all the way around here. Too many things. I say I normally do this in here, bring it all the way around here, and then do a little halfway mark just right there. And then I'm going to chop it off to size, so let me just do that off camera. I could sing to you, but I think it'll turn you'll turn the camera off immediately if I start singing. Okay, so this is me cut my loop to size. So let me just get back organised here. So put that back in there. My loop's in place. I'll just take it out here and I'll put it in that way. So that's my loop in place. Sticking up. Now this is just straightforward, normal, everyday hand stitching at this stage. So again, for my hand stitching, oops, not my awl, that's another awl. I like to use my own awl. Bring that through there, get my 2 needles in place. So I'm gonna pause the video at this stage, but because there's plenty of videos out there showing you how to do hand stitching, or I might edit it out. I'll see how I feel. I'll just keep it running. So again, get my next one, bring it all the way through. And this is me catching, just catching the loop into place. The bit you're interested in is how I get to it on the other side. And I will show you how to do the runner as well. I could tell you some of my jokes, but I think YouTube might ban me as well. Through there. Through and down. See me back at the bottom here. I'm going to go up the other side and then I'll show you the bit that you want to know. So that's up here. Through there. This is, okay, again, while we're on here, I've already done this video, but I might as well do this as well. You can bring your threads across the back here, but there's a thing we call a hidden turn, where we hide the threads inside. So all that is, as I said, there is a video on it, I think I titled it the hidden turn. Instead of bringing a needle all the way through, you bring a needle through an angle here, yeah? And you can bring this one up and through as well, but in this case I'm not going to do it, and I'll show you why. So I'll bring that through. I don't need to bring this one through. Coil it around half a dozen times, yeah, thereabouts. Coil my thread round. And then if I pull this up here, you can see now you don't see the join over here, so I'm going to actually just start stitching back towards me. So there you are. So I say I've done that hidden turn in another video, but for all the time it takes to show you in this video. Okay, so put this back in my clams, get my thread all the way around. Don't do that, that's it. It's not my awl. It was a video I did a minute ago, so I've got two awls in front of me. I don't normally have two. Okay, so on your hidden turn side of it, just to show you, I'm starting, I'm coming through the back end between the gap down here, but as I say, there is a better video on it, and that's that side sorted. And on this one, I'm coming through just the second, you got, where are we? One hole here, there's the second hole. So I'm coming through the second hole here. Okay guys, I've done a couple of stitches. I took the thread off there, so I just stopped the camera and I went and got my other better glasses as well, so I can almost see what I'm doing now. I've stitched up to where the loop's going to come in, so if I just draw that back here, you can see the loop. So this is where the loop now has to come across. I shall take it off and I'll show you. Again, you would normally do this in here. So take the loop and then push it in between the two of them where it's got to go. And then push it in nice and tight so as it butts up against the other half of it. The next thing is to make sure it's all lined up and you're going to catch this thread. So I'm just going to squeeze it down there ever so slightly, and that's the loop into position. Yeah. So I'm going to put it back in my clams, down to there. My foot in my stirrup leather down here. Now this is where it gets a wee bit tricky because your hole's actually back here, and then if you just put in. As I say, I'll just put the right glasses on, I still can't see here, and just watch my head isn't the way for the camera. So now, if I just put that in there for you, you can see I've actually came in behind. I don't know if that's going to help you a wee bit more. Let me see if I can show you, take it out here and I'll show you. So I've came in behind the loop and I've actually come through the other side, but if you look here, you can see I'm actually through the loop on the first stitch. So I'll just put it back in there again. That's it. I take my needle, it's a case of just moving your loop backwards ever so slightly. I think for this we need 3 cameras. You could really do with looking from the top almost. So that's that one. So the next one is a way back here, the next loop, which is still here, but you can see what I'm doing is I'm moving the loop backwards, yeah. And now I'm going to come through all the way through it, and I'll take it back out and I'll show you again once I'm through it. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go deeper than I normally go, just so that you can see the whole thing. But you can see what I'm doing is I'm through, yeah, and I'm through the loop, and I've actually caught the loop in place here now. So that's all it is, and I'll bring it a bit closer here, and you can see from that angle. So again, I'll just put it back in. As I said, bear in mind, you wouldn't take it out here, you'd leave it in. I'm just taking it out just to show you in the camera. So this is it. The next one is the one you want to watch. It's ever so slightly different, this next stitch. So I'll just put this one in first if I can do it. I missed the hole. So I'll just put that back through there. That's it. Lost my needles. So through it. So the next one's ever so slightly different because I've got to now get to the other side. So that's through, and then just pull my here. Right, so the next hole's actually up here. So what I've got to do, I'll just take that, I've got to push my needle through the loop here. See what I'm doing here? So bring it through to the other side. And instead of leaning the loop this way, I'm going to lean the loop that way. And I need to take it back here ever so slightly. So I'm going to push the loop. I'll just zoom you out. That's it, you should see the whole thing in it. So I'm going to push the loop in that direction. And I don't know if you can see it, I shall take it out the clamps here. So by pushing it the other direction, you can actually see the hole in there. Yeah, at least I can. Let's see, give it a second and it'll focus. Okay, so so I can now get to this hole just right here by coming, put my needle through. Put that back in there, make sure my loop's in situ, and then just bend that through there. I can see that hole there, all the way through. Oops, I'm at the wrong angle there, just change that angle slightly. Get my two needles. There's a really good video E. Jeffries do, and it shows you a bridle maker, the speed he actually works at. It doesn't actually show you anything, techniques or stuff, but do go on there and have a look at the speed that the girls on the video who do the hand stitching, at the speed they whip a stitch out, you know, in comparison to what I can whip a stitch out. And as my wife's as fast as these people on the video. She did tons of it. She was the saddler for the West Midland Police in England, near Birmingham. So okay, this is my last stitch, and that's the loop into situ. So I just put that through there. Bring my needle through the back. So I've actually put the loop into place, which is the purpose of it, but I might as well shoot this. And then I'm going to show you how to do that runner as well. So that's my last stitch. Cross my needles over. Oops. Bring that through there, just so I can see the other side. Through it comes. Over. Pull that nice and snug. Just line them up. Through it goes. Right, now I've got to come back a couple of stitches just to lock it off. And again, this is through the loop here. This is going to be one of my longest videos if I don't edit some of my... You don't need to see all that stitching, I'm sure, so I'll edit some of it out. So I'm coming back one whole stitch, and that brings the needle through to the back over here. Bring the two of them through, and then I'm coming back half a stitch. And it's just a case of bending that loop out of the way in order to do that. If I can get it in there, and all the way through. You see what I'm doing here as well? I'm using my awl. Yes, there's a wee hole in the bottom of the awl here, and that's for pushing my needle through. So there you go, a wee free tip in there. Pull it back through, and then I'll just chop these off. Right, let me show you this. So that's my oops, where are we? That's my loop into situ here. We won't look at my bad stitching, and what we're going to talk about is, and the other thing is you'll see, it needs a point on here, but it does fit through, which I'll show you how to fix that in a minute. But you can see it's all quite a collapsed, ugly one. I'm going to show you how to make it into a pretty stand-up loop like that in a wee second. But let's go straight on to the runner. So I've got another piece of loop leather here. I'm going to have to move around. So in order to get this, okay, so to do the runner, what we do is we get a leather, bring it across here, so it's all the way across this time. When we do a loop, it's halfway across, but in this case, it's all the way across. And then we bring it across here, bring it across here, and we come exactly to the other side, so that gives me the size of the runner. What's going to happen is it's actually going to move back to there, and it's going to stitch, and it'll give us this runner here. So as I said, just to show you, all the way across, and then finish tight, make sure it's over here, and make sure the whole thing's on tight. See that? And then what we're going to do is I'm going to chop it at that mark there, and that will give me, let's take it off camera as I chop it down here. So that's now my runner, yeah. So the runner's going to sit something like this, just to show you, and then it's not quite all the way over, it's now halfway, sits halfway here, and then that gives you your type. I think I did most of that off camera. So when the runner's made up, it's going to stitch that. It's going to be stitch marks on here. That's going to sit on there, and then that gives you the little gap on there. Yeah. So one of the things you need about a runner. Now I don't have any stain to hand, but you would certainly stain this end. But I don't. So I'm going to just stitch it without stain. But you would stain this end. The other thing that you got to do. Let me just go off here. And I'm going to take you over. I'm just going to move over here to my little junk pile, and then hopefully I can zoom you down here so as you can see what I'm doing. Right. So on the runner, I use a round knife. You can use whatever you like. Yeah. If I just fold it back like this. Then I'll get this big giant, if I just fold it back like that, then I get this big giant doorstep here, and it's just too thick, and it's the same, the doorsteps in the inside here. So I'm just going to thin that down ever so slightly, and I just need to move this camera, there you go. So I'm going to thin this down ever so slightly, a tiny bit here, just so as I don't have that big giant doorstep here. Not enough where it's going to rip out here, literally just taking a tiny bit off it, so as I end up with it ever so slightly thinner. Yeah, and I'm going to do the same on this side here. I'm going to take that out. And just get rid of some of the hairs. As I say, I would normally stain it. So that's now going to come across here, and I don't have the big lump here. Right, so now we need to put some stitch marks on. For the purpose of this video, I'm doing 9 stitches to the inch, and you can see it's got on there 9D. Really it should be 9S, 9 single, but for a loop it doesn't really matter to me. And this is going to be the top, so it's only going to be 3 stitches. So you can see that? So if I line that up there, now you're going to see the camera shake in a second, so just bear with me. Throwing everything about here. And then on the other side here, it's going to be, again, the same 3 stitches, yeah? So again, line that up. Let me just show you what it is, take that out. And you can see my prick marks are on it. Right, so now I'm going to fold this back like this. I'm going to hang that over so as I've got 1 stitch. 1 stitch is going to be over the end here, yeah? And then down here. So let's move back to my stitching clams, which are just over there, see if we can see them. Where we are. Somewhere there, I'll get a big junk pile, can't aim my camera to save myself. So my stitching clams are here, I'll just move you into place. A bit more organised than this. Right, now, my wife does these in her hand, and chances are you're going to have to do them in your hand. But it's far easier if you buy a set of these. They're about 20 quid for a cheap set from like Abbey, England sell them. I'm sure there's other places sell them. And it's a loop clamp. And as you know, I've got my clamps here, so I'm just going to zoom you out so you can see a bit more of the clamps. Right? And then I've got these things here. If I put these in here, it's a great little thing for doing loops. And it just sits in there. And as I said, I will zoom you back in now. There we go. And you can see the clams are just right there for you. A bit more angle. Now this is my loop with the stitching on it. You can see I've been staining today. I don't normally have black fingers. Gardeners have green fingers and saddlers have black fingers. So I now put it in here, into my clams, and I put my foot on it. This is some remnant stitching, so I'm hoping I've got enough. So I'm going to take one of these. I had my 2 needles from earlier on. I'm going to take that one there, which is a long one. Let me just zoom you out so you can see what I'm doing as I'm messing about here. So I've got a piece of thread and a needle. I'm just going to put a knot down at the bottom here. There are other ways of doing this. This is my way of doing it. So just some people don't put a knot in at all. It's just the way I do it. As I say, there is other ways of doing it. Right, okay. So now what I've got is I've got a tiny little knot at the bottom here. Back to my awl, and I'm going to start the second stitch up. I'm going to push it all the way through. Okay, and I'll just zoom you in a wee bit again. So I wonder if this will work better at a different angle for you. No, probably not. I'll leave it at this angle for you. So it's all the way through. Now, because I get a knot, I actually want it in between the 2 leathers here. Yeah, so, and if I just take you around this way, and hopefully that'll show you up. So you can see it's actually through the 2 pieces of leather there. Okay, and I'll bring you back around here. You get dizzy watching this video. Bring that all the way through, so that's my needle. This is what we call a single stitch. So I'm going to come back up to the top hole here, bring it through. You can do this on your lap, just holding your fingers, but it's a bit more difficult. So I've come up to the top stitch here, and this one is just over the leather in the inside here. So I'll just put a couple through so as you can see it. And I've got my knot in the way there. Get out of the way, knot. So now I'm going to miss a hole. I'll show you that. I'll bring the needle through and I'll bring it closer to the camera for you. This is I've got a video on using one needle, and this is what I'm doing. So do watch that video, and it'll be a bit clearer for you. Let me just take it out here, and then I'll bring this closer to the camera. So that's it there. You can see I'm through, and I've actually missed a stitch, and I'll show it from this angle as well. Yeah. So I'll just take it through here. I'll do this out the clams for you. So I'll take that through there. So this is the way the wife does it. She doesn't do it in the clams. But you can see why I use clams. It's far easier. And I think I might have to get back to them because I can't do it any other way. It's just the way I was taught. So okay, this is going to come back up to this one here, and then go through that second hole. Yeah, I am definitely going to get back to my clams, guys. But see, through my second hole up here. And I pull it through there, and I think it'd be more tidy for you if you see clams as well. Let me just put it back in here. So pull that nice and snug. Now I get one more stitch to do. So I've got 1, 2, and this stitch is just over the end here. So say I do show you how to do a single stitch. It's just more showing you how to prep these loops today. Bring that through here, all the way through. Just again, I'll just bring it out the clams just to show you. So it's coming through here, oops, and then it's actually over the top. Yeah, so now I'm going to bring it back up to here, bring it through here, oh, all the way through, and that's nice and snug. Now I've got to cross over to the other side. So how that's done is, again, just come back through here. I mean, because it's a single thread, just bring it back through, all the way through. This video is a bit jerky. And then bring it back in here. Now it's through there. I'm going to start in this hole just up here. And I'm going to come in between the leather so you don't see the crossover. If I just pull that there, and now the crossover's hidden inside here, and then I'm going to come back down over the top of the leather here, through there, nice and snug. I'm going to, that's where my stitch is. I'm going to come up to this hole, so really effectively I'm missing a stitch, and again I'm just going to come through there, and then come back down. As I say, there is a video on how to do a single stitch. Bring that through, I'm nearly done, up to the top one, which is here, and this is over the back of the leather in here, so it's holding that down. I like to come round here twice, so round the same one, through there, and that should be enough to lock it. So that should be enough to lock it, and that's the loop done. But again, some people, as I said, that should be enough to lock it, but some people like to actually come all the way down. I don't do this. But if you're just a bit unsure if it's locked enough, you can come down another couple of stitches. But let's say that's it. I've got to find my knife, which is here. I'll just put that back in these clams again. I'm going to cut the thread off. Got that out of the way. So that's us now got a little runner. and that little runner is going to fit onto my strap. Just put it on there, and you'll see it's quite nice and tight. Yeah, I'll just zoom you out. Ooh, other direction. So I've got a loop and I've got a runner. Now remember I showed you earlier the squareness, so I'm going to show you how to do that. I get a little bucket, a little tate of water I've got to go and get. Some juice here, so let me get some. And what you do is you wet it. I'm not going to put a bucket of water on the camera for you, but you just you wet it, and then we get a bit more zooming out. Just turn you around this direction. And then we get a thing, you can get these are metal ones, but you can get them in wood. They're called loop sticks or loop irons. Put your loop stick through here. Now you do these one at a time, yeah? But if you can, which I'm going to try and do for this video, I'm going to do them twice. Nah, it's too tight for me. So I'll just bring that down now. I'm going to do the runner first. Squeeze that through there. As you can see, that's through. The next thing I want, now there's a few things you can use for this. I've just got to adjust this camera a wee bit for you guys. Move all this rubbish out of the way. This is my screw crease. So with my screw crease, I'll just turn it that way. Just do that across the top, and that gives me a nice line. But the main thing I think is down the corners down here. Turn it round. Yeah, you can see what's on there. I'll just bring it a bit closer. As I say, the main thing is make sure you wet it. I'll get a wee cup of water there, so make sure you wet it. Bring that over here like that. You can leave them all collapsed if you like. I just don't like them collapsed. And I'll take this loop iron out now. And what you should see is you should see a nice square loop rather than this, which is all collapsed and quite ugly looking, as I say. So this one's a wee bit squarer. So let me do this one up this end. So again, just push that through there, all the way through. And then, same again, get my screw crease up the edge here. And then just do that. Now there is another wee trick you can do. If they're not coming up square for you, let me show you. If they're not coming up square enough for you, just give them a little tap on the side. Yeah. And then that'll make them square as well. Generally the screw crease will do it, but let's just do that down there. So you can give them a little tap. And the good news is this video's nearly over. So you can go and get a coffee on the go. Did a hint I did on this video, hinted Nescafe. Okay. Right, let's pull this out. And what you got is a nice little square loop. As I say, you get the runner as well here. So that's how to do a loop and a runner, guys. I hope it's of use to you as always. Thanks very much for watching.